So hi, Robin. My question
Hi,
is
Annie.
more about how do I say? Because my kid is right now 11 years old, but whenever I ask him questions, he will simply say no comment. So it may not related to not my inner child thing, because I'm quite open up. Okay, so that's why I'm just thinking how to motivate him, okay, to let him speak. So what his inner thinking was.
Annie, okay, that's quite a challenge for you, of course. And yeah, I can imagine. You know, and I think I've experienced that as a father when I'm concerned for my child and she doesn't want to open up to me on that day. Geez, you worry a lot, don't you, as a mother or father? It's difficult. It makes us feel powerless when we're blocked out. Now, there are 2 levels of answers for your situation. One level is about the practicalities of the here and now. You know, the skill set that we can all learn more and more and more for the rest of our lives, really. I'm a learner about how to communicate. You know, what are the ways that I can listen? What are the ways that I can invite a response from my child to make them feel safe enough that they want to open up to me? Even what are the things that I do without realizing that get in the way of my child feeling free to open up to me? You know, perhaps the way that I ask is intrusive, or there's so many things to look at in terms of the skill. And if we had more time and a different kind of a workshop today, I would focus on that. And I would want, in any case, to encourage you, Annie, to follow that up, you know, the communicational methods, because every parent that ever lived can stand to learn more and more and more about that as a resource too. There's a really good system called nonviolent communication, and it really explains so well what is listening and how can we all learn to listen in a way that really creates a safe environment, because children are afraid of being judged. They're afraid of being shamed. They're afraid of being told to get over it, that they should feel differently. And it's not just the parents, by the way. It's the society that surrounds them. You know, children will often shame each other for being vulnerable, for having, you know, for being sad, for being afraid. Okay, so there's a whole world out there that's making it scary for our children, not only us, the whole world makes it sometimes scary that they want to pretend that everything is okay. So your son, I think you says no comment, but there's another, I told you there's another level, and which now comes back to our topic for today, how you can use your own inner child experience to get more insight about what's going on for your son. Here's what I would suggest. Take some time, Annie, to recall times in your life, particularly when you were growing up as a teenager or even younger and younger than that. Whenever you have felt that you're struggling inside with some big emotions, but you don't feel safe to open up and tell people about it, for whatever reason it might be, that it just doesn't feel comfortable. Now, I think all of us have experienced that at least once or twice or a few times, where we really, really, really need to open up and let somebody in. But we don't do it. We won't. Just like your son. I know the part of me that's exactly like your son, Annie. If I'm to understand your son better, I need to begin by understanding that part of me. Sometimes I hide. I don't want to show how I feel because I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. I'm afraid somebody might say, grow up, be a man. Men shouldn't feel this way. Or, you know, I don't want to get advice I don't want advice. I want someone to just hear me and to say, I understand. I have felt like you feel before in my life too, right? So the more deeply you connect with your own history, times in your life when you have felt most resistance to opening up your heart to others, what is the element that helps you to start to trust? Once you define that, it will give you some very big aha about what might help your son to open up. Little by little, it might take him time. Our kids go through stages, they go through phases sometimes when they're very proud and they don't want to say what's going on for them. And I'm not assuming that that's what it is for your son, of course, but that's just an example. Okay, so how do I know how to create the kind of environment that is most conducive, the conditions that are most likely to facilitate spontaneous opening up? Well, I can gain knowledge about that by remembering what has helped me to open up in the past when I really didn't want to. Okay, so Annie, I hope that gives you another perspective, how to understand your son better from the inside.
請問點樣療癒自己？做催眠治療有冇用呢？
Thank you for your question. How do you heal yourself? Does hypnotherapy work? There are so many different kinds of hypnotherapy, and there are even more. There's a gigantic supermarket of therapy modalities, and you know, you try whatever you need to try, and if it reaches you and gives you release, it brings you joy, brings you empowerment, then that means it's working for you. Okay, but I suggest that looking at your question, how do I heal my own inner child? That's not one answer. Ask your inner child what she wanted, because it'll be a different need relative to each wound that is triggered through your relationships. You know, sometimes there's a situation in my life that makes me feel a little bit like a very vulnerable 2-year-old. And it makes me remember a time when I was crying and nobody came to me. And then what heals me in that moment is me asking, hey, inner child inside me, what would you have needed? I needed someone to listen to me, someone to hold me. Okay, that's what I need now then, some kind of holding. Or, you know, just to give you an idea of how diverse this is, because the healing is only healing when it answers the actual need that is coming up for you. And it's not always going to be the same need. You know, sometimes life pushes my buttons, for instance, and what I'm feeling is there's something very important that I want to express, but I feel inhibited. And I can feel the strength of my voice, but it gets blocked in my throat. And what's going to give me the courage to speak out even in the face of people that might really strongly disagree with me? What gives me that courage? And I remember when was something similar like that in my life? And it reminds me in my growing up, I mean, and for example, that might take me back to a time in a classroom when I disagreed, but I was afraid to say so, or I had an important question to ask, but I was intimidated by the teacher. What would help me? Often the answer for me is I need a little bit of an alliance, the support of my mates. They give me so much strength. They help me to stand up. Ah, now I know. That would heal me when I feel that inhibition in my throat. Even at my age, I'm almost 60 now. I still need my allies and my friends from time to time. That's healing. So can you see what's healing? You'll know what's healing by, first of all, going inside and contacting what's hurting and what is the need. Underneath the pain, what is the emotional need? Now you know what's healing. And sometimes the need is, you might need, the inner child inside you says, I need perhaps more freedom to say what I want to say, or what I need to say, or to express the things I need to express. Or sometimes it's an outside need, that I need more help from other people, I need to reach out, I need the empathy, I need support. Can you see it's a whole variety of things. I hope that makes sense to you. If your inner child feels frustrated, but you cannot connect with your inner child, what can you do? Well, I would suggest that if you know that you're feeling frustrated, you are connecting with your inner child. You're feeling the frustration. Perhaps what you might be asking is how to satisfy the frustration. And the body has an answer. Ask the body, what does the frustration want to do? Now, of course, we need to be careful. Sometimes when any of us are very, very angry and frustrated, there's an impulse to strike out. And there's no way in the world that there's any justification for violence, hurting ourselves or hurting somebody else, least of all hurting our child. However, the body, usually around frustration, there's an impulse to mobilize, to push in some way, to use a strong voice. Trust the impulse in your body in a non-violent way. You might find, for example, that in a state of frustration, it will bring you great release and satisfaction to allow your body to do something very, very vigorous. People use sport, jogging, running, going to the gym, doing boxercise, finding a safe way that you can hit a pillow and make some noise. Playing a sport like tennis or squash really releases a lot of frustration. I'm just giving you examples for trusting the shape of the impulse in your body. What does your frustration want to do? That's just for releasing the frustration, and often that can make you feel a lot calmer afterwards. Sometimes when you listen to your body, the frustration in your body, the impulse might have something to do with something interpersonal. Your body will give you imagery. What's the desire? And again, I'll say be careful, because sometimes there's an image of violence that comes up, and there's no justification for violence. However, when you distill it to the bottom line theme, there might be somebody in your life that you need to say something to. Please don't do that to me anymore. I don't like it. Or I need more of your help. I'm upset. I'm frustrated because you're not helping me enough. I need more help. So again, I will recommend that you find information about non-violent communication. Look it up on Google. There are good books and there are good classes that helps you to make an I statement, a strong, assertive message about your needs to other people in your life. That will take care of your frustration. Okay, so I've given you really two avenues: the cathartic bodily release, which can be very satisfying and bring you back to calm, or really understanding that there is a relationship issue that needs to be addressed, something that you need to express to another person that will help you not to feel so frustrated anymore. So you've connected with the feeling, Now connect with a need. Your frustration is telling you that you have an unmet need. Bring words to that need. Your body will tell you if you listen. Begin with the sensation. Where is the sensation? Maybe your hands are doing this. Maybe there's a tightness in your chest. Maybe there's a clenching in your jaw. Close your eyes, go into that sensation and say, what do you want? And wait for the answer to come up. You'll know when you have the right answer because there'll be a release, there'll be a change in the sensation in your body. Talk to your body. Listen to your body. Not just the feeling, but the need underneath. Thank you for your question.